Call of Duty Zombies is a game mode that has been around for years now, starting up from World at War and continuing on today. Throughout each Zombies game, there are many weapons that have been introduced that are usually passed down from multiplayer. However, there is one type of weapon that has only been exclusive to the Zombies game mode. I'm talking about wonder weapons. Introduced since the beginning with Noct, more and more have been added and some have become iconic in the franchise. Today I thought I'd look back and point out the most iconic wonder weapon from World at War to Black Ops 3. I will try to pick out the weapon based off how influential it was, what makes it so iconic, and most importantly how popular it was, as it's what made us remember all these weapons for years. I will also only be picking one wonder weapon per game, so if I pick a wonder weapon for one game, I won't be able to use it for any other game. Ray gun. So if you guys want, like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think is the most iconic wonder weapon in every single game. But without further ado, here's my opinions on what are the most iconic wonder weapons in every game. Starting off with World at War, there's only two choices here, and it's between the Wonder WAF and the ray gun. Between the two, I'd have to say that the ray gun is more iconic, although it is a bit unfair to the Wonder WAF. The ray gun started off wonder weapons ever since it was introduced since the first map in World at War. It has also become a staple in the game mode, with even multiplayer casuals being able to hop on zombies and recognize the ray gun. On top of all that, it's also in every single zombies map in World at War, whereas the Wonder WAF is only on Shinonuma and Darius, with it being buggy on Darius as well. And this is all without mentioning the multiple memes that the ray gun has produced with the revive me, I have the ray gun, and everything around that. It's safe to say that this is the most iconic wonder weapon in this game. However, with all this said, it was still close between the two weapons. And it's mainly because the Wonder WAF is still popular in its own way. A lot of people do know about the Wonder WAF, and it's been in every single Call of Duty except for BO2. This wonder weapon also started a trend with each other wonder weapon after it having its own similar gimmick compared to the Wonder WAF, as upon shooting the Wonder WAF you electrify 7 to 14 zombies depending on if it's pack-a-punched or not. Whereas the ray gun is just kind of like a powered up pistol that shoots these kind of explosive lasers at zombies. With all this said though, the ray gun still does come on top, mainly because of what I said, with it being so popular, influential, and known for the multiple other games that it features in. Moving on to Call of Duty Black Ops 1, this game had way more wonder weapons introduced since World at War. If Ascension managed to get its own wonder weapon, it would have been able to have a separate wonder weapon for every single zombies map. With that being said, there's only one that reigns supreme to me, and it's gonna be the Thunder Gun. Easily the most popular and fan favorite wonder weapon out of Black Ops 1, it even made a return into BO3's DLC with Revelations. And that's all without mentioning the fact that it made a return in Zombies Chronicles with Kino, Ascension, and Noct. I think the reason why the Thunder Gun was even so popular to begin with was because of how many popular maps that it was introduced in. I mean, you've got the easy maps like Kino and Ascension, which a lot of casuals played on, and then you've also got maps like Noct that just got reintroduced there. And then on top of that, being one of the best weapons in Revelations to kill all the bosses, it's just been in so many games that I think anyone can identify it at this point. However, that doesn't mean the other wonder weapons in Black Ops 1 were bad. The Wave Gun and the Baby Maker and Shangri-La are just as cool. However, they just don't have the same pull towards players as the Thunder Gun. And that's probably because of how easy the Thunder Gun is to use compared to those guns. The Wave Gun is kind of low on ammo and it's not that great on the dual wield. And the Baby Maker can be a bit confusing for new players if you don't know that you're supposed to like run over them or shoot them after you shrink them. On top of that, those two wonder weapons were on much difficult maps than Kino and Ascension. I believe that the Thunder Gun kind of inspired later wonder weapons, with the Wind Staff kind of being just like the Thunder Gun except with a cool tornado effect if you charge it up. And even the Jet Gun kind of being an inverse version of the Thunder Gun, except way worse, especially since it can break. With all this here, I think we can safely say that the Thunder Gun is easily one of the most iconic weapons, not just in Black Ops 1, but in all of zombies. And with that concluded, we'll move on to Black Ops 2. And remember how I said in Black Ops 1 almost every map had its own unique wonder weapon? Well, in Black Ops 2 it actually happened, and no, I am not counting Nuketown. As far as I'm concerned, that can stay in multiplayer. Anyways, as I was saying, each map has its own wonder weapon, with the Transit having the jet gun, Die-Rise having the Sliquifier, Mob of the Dead having the Blundergat, Buried having the Paralyzer, and Origins with the 4 staffs. And this is all without mentioning the fact that the Raygun Mark II is introduced in Buried and is soon introduced in every other map in BO2 as long as you own Buried. However, with all of these amazing wonder weapons in one game, I still believe that one wonder weapon, or should I say 4, reign supreme, and those are the staffs. And I can already hear people typing down in the comments saying that all 4 staffs are different or they shouldn't be ranked the same. I know, and I can kind of understand you. However, we're not talking about some power tier list or something that helps you get to round 100. We're talking about how iconic it is. The Raygun in World at War isn't iconic because it can take you up to round 100. It's iconic because it's, well, a staple in zombies. And I truly believe that these staffs are iconic, not because they're individually different, although that does play a factor in it. It's because they all come as a package in one map. We see this through different maps and different Call of Duties, even ones that we're not even covering, like BO4, where we have 4 different types of wonder weapons, which is usually for 1 each player. Not only that, but the staffs are so popular, with anyone who even knows about BO2 knowing about the staffs and Origins. And the crazy part is, if you ask some people, that each person almost has a different kind of favorite staff. Although the ice staff is the best for high rounds and most people will be using it, if you ask anyone about their favorite staff, they'll probably give you a different answer. This is all without mentioning that getting the Origins staff is basically the Origins Easter egg. I mean, after you get the staffs, the Easter egg becomes way easier because the whole first part is getting the staffs. And I truly believe that the Origins Easter egg is probably the most popular Easter egg of all time. It's what made Easter eggs mainstream, as well as being able to do it in one player as well. It just became very popular. The staffs are so popular that people were genuinely upset that we didn't get to see the original copies, and to be honest, I still wish we could have saw whatever the original staffs were. So with all this said, I truly believe that these 4 staffs are all iconic. However, I do want to give a quick honorable mention to the Raygun Mark II. It's definitely not a weapon that most people think about, and I definitely didn't think it would be too iconic, but when you think about it, it was in all BO2 maps afterward and was a really popular weapon, especially to use on Origins against the Panzers, and its introduction in Zombies Chronicles only boosted its popularity. However, I just sadly don't think it's influential enough, nowhere near the same stature as the staffs or even any other wonder weapon in BO2, and that's mainly just because it lacks kind of a gimmick, kind of like what I said about the Wunderwaffe and the Raygun. It's just kind of a bullet kind of thing. It's no gimmick, no Wunderwaffe electricity, no thunder gun blowing the zombies away. It's just kind of plain compared to a modern wonder weapon. But with BO2 finally covered, we're gonna move on to the final game in this video, which is BO3. Now, BO3, similarly to BO1, almost has a unique wonder weapon for every map, only lacking in the map Revelations. However, I truly don't think that BO3 is too hard, as to me it's clearly the Apothecon Servant that is the most iconic to come from BO3. This wonder weapon is one of the most OP wonder weapons we've ever seen, which isn't a bad thing, that's the whole point of zombies. But it's just so good to the point where if you're using it to do an Easter egg, if you're using it to get to high rounds, no matter what you're trying to do with this weapon, you'll be able to do it. That's just how good it is. However, it's also balanced, as it doesn't have the most ammo with only a couple shots, and if you get it upgraded in Revelations, it kind of gets solved, but it's still on the lower side. And speaking of Revelations, this wonder weapon is vital to doing the Revelations Easter egg, as you've got to use it to collect all the bones and all that stuff. And to be honest, I think it's Revelations that boosted its popularity because of how easy it is to get to round 100s. A lot of people were getting around 100s using the Apothecon Servant. On top of that, I think if you compare it to all the other wonder weapons in BO3, the only ones that come remotely close is the Dreisendracht bows. And although those are pretty close, I still don't think they're as influential or as popular as the Apothecon Servant was, especially considering Origins did it first. The Apothecon Servant was just such a unique idea with its aesthetic and its ability. I just think that the Apothecon Servant is just an accurate representation of what BO3 is, with all its weirdness and all its coolness. It's kind of weirdly accurate. I mean, you literally shove your hand. Anyways, this is the first video I've ever done like this, so make sure you guys leave some feedback in the comments, because I genuinely have no idea how I did on this. If you guys would like to see another video like this, let me know as well in the comments, and like and subscribe if you want. See ya.